My brothers and sisters, you are now watching The Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need. And I hope you enjoy the video.
Well, it's about that time, peoples. It is indeed about that time. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, man. One of the most highly anticipated games of this year. A lot of people were looking forward to this game, man. You know, despite the current state of Konami, I was really excited to play this game, man. This could very well be the last real Metal Gear Solid game we get, unless you're looking forward to playing it on tablets, smartphones, iPads. This could be Hideo Kojima's last imprint on this series. So if it is indeed the last game that we get from the man who built this franchise, as far as I'm concerned, then Hideo Kojima, I would just like to thank you for everything you've done for gamers and this franchise over the years. Now, this game came out on September 1st, and I'm reviewing it in October. I could have reviewed it about a week ago. F with me and then you tweaking, huh? But not all. But a lot of these major review sites that did a review for this game, their review is based off of the first ending you get in this game. If you don't know, this game has two endings. You have the first ending and then the quote-unquote true ending to this game. So I could have reviewed it just based off that ending, but I wanted to see both endings because you have to do some things to get the true ending. So, you know, that was the case there. But definitely, if your review is based off of both endings, once you see both endings, I'm telling you, right, especially the true ending, it can definitely change your outlook of what you think of the story. Definitely change your outlook of what you think of the story, man. And not just that, I mean, this is an open world Metal Gear Solid game. We've never had a Metal Gear Solid game quite like this. You got the side ops missions and everything else. So I just needed time to review this game before I can really get all my thoughts of what I think of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, man. So, yeah, I got both endings, and my review will be based on, I'm gonna still review it based off the first ending you get, but I'm gonna also include the true ending, you know. So again, this was one of the most highly anticipated games of this year, man. This could be again the last real Metal Gear Solid game we get. This could very well be Hideo Kojima's last imprint on the Metal Gear Solid franchise, one of the most popular franchise in video game history as far as I'm concerned, you know. So if that is the case, just thank you again, man. And it's time to find out if all the hype was needed. Did this game really live up to the hype, or is it yet another game that, you know, had a lot of hype but was just like didn't really meet the hype, didn't really exceed the hype, you know? So is this game, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, worth the 60 bones? Time to find out. So the story for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. where do I even begin? Like, well, for one, it takes place 9 years after the ripoff known as, Ground Zero, where we were questioning, am I really paying $30 for a demo? And at first it was supposed to be 40. It takes place after this, so it takes place, after the events that occur in Ground Zero. So you wake up and you're in a hospital, Snake, Big Boss, he doesn't really know what's going on. He just knows that he awakes inside of a hospital. And, once the nurses and doctors sees that he's awoken, they later try to explain to him, the situation. So they're like, listen, you've been out for quite some time. Just to be specific, you've been sleeping for 9 years. So once they say that he's been in a coma for 9 years, of course he starts to go crazy. He's going in and out of consciousness. And, once he, wakes up and falls back asleep, wakes up and falls back asleep, he finally wakes up and stays up, So once that happens, they explain the situation to him, so, it's after the events that occur in Ground Zero. It was 9 years. He's been in a coma for 9 years, so this whole time, people outside are trying to hunt down this man and kill this man. This man is in a hospital bed. Suckers are still trying to kill him. How heartless can you be? So he's inside of this hospital, but he's still in danger. People are looking for him and trying to kill him. Skullface, who is the commander of XOF, he hires this female assassin, later known as Quiet, to kill Snake. And she's about to, but luckily he has another person inside of the room with him. I think he says that his name is Ishmael or something. So he helps Snake out of that room. Must I say though, the opening to this story, when you first started playing this game inside of the hospital, was that not one of the most intense, like, everybody get on the edge of your seats, oh my gosh, somebody do something. Like, the opening to this game, this might be one of the most intense openings to a game that I can ever remember. Like, that jump was, I felt like I was actually in that hospital just because it was so intense. So these soldiers are inside of the hospital and they're killing everyone that they're seeing. No matter who they come in contact with, they are killing people. You don't even know why. It's just like, why are they killing everybody in this hospital? They're looking for the big boss. They're looking for Snake. So they're just killing everybody they see. Meanwhile, you're trying to hide from them. It's just so intense, man. And eventually you escape the hospital, right? Trying not to say too much, but it's really hard, so you eventually escape the hospital with the help of your friend, and later you reunite with Revolver, Ocelot, and Miller, and you later form the group known as Diamond Dogs, and they try to rebuild the base that they lost and stuff like that, and they're trying to stop Skullface and his plans, his elaborate scheme he has that really is putting the future of the world at risk. I guess I'll just stop there because if I keep on going, I'm gonna spoil something I know it. So that's really what the story is about. You travel from, Afghanistan to Africa and stuff like that, and it's really something that you should experience. That's all I'll say about the story. Now again, there is two endings. You have one ending, and then you got the quote unquote true ending. Let's talk about the first ending. The first ending, I don't think is a bad ending. It's not really disappointing. Would I have preferred it to be a little more, provide a little more closure to the story? Yeah. But I don't think even the first ending was bad. I thought it was, pretty good. And I was sad. I was satisfied with the first ending, in this game, but it could have just provided better closure to the story. Now the true ending, the true ending to where you have to do some things to get to that ending. The true ending, man, I'm trying not to, man, let's just say, if you've played Metal Gear Solid 2, just expect a twist like that. It's a twist that goes down, and it literally changes everything. It changes everything that you've done in the story. Changes. So let's just say that. Let's just say that. So there's two endings. The first ending is not bad, but it could have provided better closure. But the true ending, it completely changes your outlook. So I highly recommend, if you play this game, you have to get both endings. You have the first ending, which I think is after mission 32. And then the true ending where you have to do some things to get to that ending, you know. So, let's just say that. But I thought the story was pretty good. Definitely, speaking on the true ending, it definitely... I really don't even do. It was one of the... Because I remember playing Metal Gear Solid 2. And after, you know, some things went down, it was just like... I had that same face after the true ending. So let's just say that I thought the story was good, man. I was not disappointed really at all. Again, the first ending could have provided better closure, but it's still, both endings are good, but definitely you want to see the true ending. I will say though, after you get the first ending and you see, you know, after the credits, you get to see this part to where it's like, did these suckers just cut out a chapter on us and later I was going to put this as DLC? Because when I seen that, I was like, wait, what? It said to be continued, and then you see some cutscenes and it's supposed to be chapter 2. So that's again another one of the things why a lot of people thought that the first ending was disappointing. When I seen that, I definitely was like, you know, these bastards did not intentionally cut out a chapter to later put it in as DLC. So, I mean, again, there's that, but even with that, I mean, I really can't take nothing away from this story. I enjoyed both endings. Again, the first ending could have provided more closure, but I was good with that ending. But the true ending, the characters in this game, of course, you have Big Boss Snake, you know, he is just, that man's a boss, dude. Big Boss is a boss, okay? The dude, man, is, I'm literally just thinking about everything that just went down. But you have Big Boss, you have Revolver Ocelot, you have Kaz Miller, you know, you have Skullface, you have Huey, you have Quiet. So you have some good characters in this game. A lot of people's complaints of the story was that, like, compared to other Metal Gear Solid games, the story just didn't feel as intact. It does seem like at points the story is like everywhere, because you don't have the same amount of, especially Metal Gear Solid 4, you don't have too many cutscenes. Like, there's some cutscenes here and there, but a lot of the times it's just like you're going from mission to mission to mission, and then you'll get a cutscene here, you know, you might get like a little snippet here, and then you keep on playing. So the story doesn't really feel intact, but the cassette tapes that you get in this game, they really help you. Like, I almost would say that because, you know, you don't get as many cutscenes compared to the previous Metal Gear games, those cassette tapes are the replacement. Because those cassette tapes in this game, they really, like, provide you info and more, you know, to the story of what's really going on. So that's that. But I definitely would say the story doesn't really feel as intact as the previous Metal Gear games, just because of just the way they tell the story. You're seeing cutscenes here and there, but it's a lot of gameplay, a lot of snippets here, and then you just keep on doing missions and stuff like that. But the cassette tapes come as the replacement to that. But back to the characters. Good characters, man. Really good characters. You get to see, how Revolver Ocelot is. You get to see how Kaz is. You get to see how Huey is. You get to see how Skullface is. Of course, big boss. You have some great characters in this game, but I want to focus on one character for right now. Quiet. Quiet, who is the female assassin who is, literally just destroying dudes out on the battlefield with her tits hanging out. So some people, they didn't like the outfit that Quiet rocks in this game, and I mean, I will say, does it make sense to be out in a war? Meanwhile, you're wearing this see-through leggings and people can see your thong and breast hanging out. I mean, yes, you could have probably had a better outfit, but unless you're just a straight perv, when I looked at Quiet, I didn't look at her that way. Like, Quiet is really a good character. There's a reason for why she's quiet. There's a reason for everything to her character in this game. So when people just focus on, oh my gosh, she's just so out there, how could you do this? I mean, that's when I kind of start to think you're nitpicking, because when you really pay attention to her character, like, she has a reason behind everything that her character represents in this game. Do I think she could have had a better outfit for being out in a war, like destroying people? Possibly. But I didn't focus on that. I thought she was a great character. Once you really see the final cutscene to the closure of her story, Quiet is a great character in this game, played by Stephanie Judson. I'm single, Stephanie. Let holla. But I just thought the game had great characters. Quiet, definitely a great character. I loved her character, man. Again, the story at times, it doesn't feel as intact as the previous Metal Gear games, especially 4, because it was like you almost felt like you was watching a movie in 4. This one has a lot more gameplay to it. So it's like, do you prefer more cutscenes or more gameplay? Pick your poison here, but again, the cassette tapes comes as a replacement to that. Let's get to the gameplay. So the gameplay in Metal Gear Solid 5, there's never been quite a Metal Gear Solid game quite like this one. This is somewhat of an open world Metal Gear Solid game. You're going from places like Africa and Afghanistan. Those are mainly the two places, you're going back and forth from, so, but it is a somewhat of an open world Metal Gear Solid game. So this is new, Metal Gear has always been this tactical stealth. It's not a shooter. Like, if you haven't played Metal Gear before, a lot of people, put this game as a shooter. It could possibly be a shooter, but it's more like it's a tactical stealth game, so that's still there in this game. Despite it being a open world game, you can still play it how we've always been playing the Metal Gear games. What I did think that they did in this game, this time around, I almost feel like, Metal Gear Solid 5 kinda lets you play it how you want to play it. It still is a stealth game, but I don't think it relies as heavily on stealth like the previous Metal Gear games. There's definitely still stealth involved, but I kind of feel like they give you more, freedom to what you want to do in this game. But it is somewhat of an open world Metal Gear game, a lot of stuff to do, from the side ops missions to trying to, put up your staff at the base. You get sidetracked a lot in this game. Like, for a while, I was just doing side ops missions and trying to find new people, to bring back to my base, because once you do that, the higher that your level is at the base, for the support unit, or they got the support unit, they have the, medic team, they have a lot of units, and once you build up the levels, at your base, you can develop new weapons, develop new equipment, you can upgrade the chopper, you can get new buddies. There's definitely a lot of stuff in this game that will sidetrack you, and it's just like, oh snap, I have to get back to the story, you know. So the gameplay in this game I thought was really good. It still keeps that stealth that has always been in the Metal Gear games, but I kind of felt like in this game they kind of give you a little bit more freedom. It doesn't rely as heavily on stealth as the previous Metal Gear games did. So I thought the gameplay in this game was great, man. From building up your staff at the base to developing new weapons, to developing new equipment, from catching animals and bringing them back to your base and then building like this sanctuary for animals. Like, there is so many things in this game that will sidetrack you that sometimes you forget about the story. It's not, I wouldn't put it on the same level as like as an RPG game, but there's definitely things that are in this game that you could not do in the previous Metal Gear game. So it's something new that was not provided in the other Metal Gear Solid games. I did see some people saying that the gameplay kind of does get, repetitive. I mean, I could see what they're saying to a certain extent, because you do have a lot of the same missions, especially the extraction missions, like go here to this outpost and extract this staff member, or extract this prisoner that's there, and then bring them back to the base. There are a lot of those missions like that. So I will say, I mean, to a certain extent, it kind of does. Some of these missions do kind of get like, oh, I have to do another extraction missions, but I don't know. I just feel like, because there's always a different way to tackle these missions. There's like, I mean, with the buddies you're with, you can be with the dog, you can be with Quiet, you can be with the horse, you can have this walker gear. There's so many different ways you can take on these missions that, even though it kind of does get repetitive. Some of the missions, you kind of get tired of doing the same extraction missions, but I don't know. I just kind of felt, because there's so much choice now that you have that was not provided in the other Metal Gear games. It's kind of like, but the gameplay though is definitely good, man. A lot of stuff that you can do, the side ops missions and stuff like that, to the main story missions, to just doing whatever you want, just exploring. Game looks really good, man. But yeah, I mean, the game does not have online right now. The online drops on October 6th, so I can't really say how the online is, but definitely when that online comes out, I will be there. But Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, man, from the story, the two stories, to the gameplay, to this possibly being the last real Metal Gear game, I thought this game was a great way to end off this franchise, if it is indeed the ending to Metal Gear. Because if Hideo Kojima is not involved, but they're still making these games, I don't care. Like, this is the last Metal Gear game. So if that is the case, then I thought this was a pretty good way to end it off. I do not think that this is one of those Batman type situations to where the game is still good, but you kind of thought they could have ended off the franchise better. I don't think that is the case with Metal Gear. I was really satisfied with this game's story. I thought it was a beautiful ending to, this, franchise, if it is indeed the last one. And I thought it was really good, man. Both of the stories. And, the gameplay is good. It's an open world game. There's a lot of stuff to do. It does have replay value in this game. A lot of stuff to unlock and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give this game, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, I will give this game a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that kind of is keeping this game away from a 10 is, I do agree with some people that some of the missions do get repetitive. They could have just had more variety in this game, but even with the cons this game does have, the pros just completely outweigh that, so that's really my only complaint of this game really is that. And I don't know what they did with that chapter in the first ending of Metal Gear, but that chapter 2 to be continued type deal, I don't know what, but even with that, I just thought this game was great, man. Had great characters, great gameplay, good story. I gotta give this game a 9.5, man. So definitely, if you've been thinking about buying this game, hands down, definitely buy it. But you would be doing a disservice to yourself if you was just a hop straight. You would, especially with the second ending, you will be lost. You will be completely, if you just hop into this game without playing any of the other Metal Gears, which I do not recommend. If you was to do that, especially with the second ending, you will be like, what the freak is going on? You know, so definitely, I mean, you could just play, you know, Metal Gear Solid 3, Peace Walker, Ground, and Ground Zeroes, and then get into this. But I would just recommend, if you want to play Metal Gear Solid 5, play through all of them. Just play through all of them. It's a really good franchise, man. Hideo Kojima, man, has provided us with countless, just classic moments in this franchise, man. And if this is, again, his last imprint on this franchise, I thought he did a great job, man, despite all the BS going down at Konami. So, Metal Gear Solid 5 fan, it gets a 9.5 from me. Almost a flawless game. Almost. But, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And yeah, man, I will catch you guys in my next video, man.